Welcome to part 6 of VUMC Worship Arts Technical Training. Now we're working on the soundboard. As you see, the soundboard has a cover, dust cover that all goes on. Just pull that sucker off, and yes, more knobs, more buttons, more sliders than everything else over there combined, pretty much. Again, don't let this throw you. This stuff is actually easy to work on if you put in the practice. So don't let these buttons throw you. We're going to go through and show you the basics of how everything works. First things first, we got to turn it on. And in the top drawer, you will find a blue lanyard with a silver key on one end. The silver key is what we're going to use in the preparation of turning on the power and everything. So that's the key right there. The other key you see, that square one, that's what gets you into the closet, the power closet to turn on for the lights. But we're working on audio, so let's get the audio up and running. Over to the side, you will see buttons that are numbered 1, 2, and 3. And that's the way we're going to turn them on. Number 1, flick it on, and we have power. Number 2, same thing. Find that number 2 button, flick it on, and we have more power. Last but not least is where we use the key. The key simply fits into that locking mechanism, and you turn it halfway clockwise. Matter of fact, it'll only go so far, so it'll stop right there. You see the light come on, and then we'll know that the soundboard is fired up along with everything else, like the CD recorder, CD player, all that good stuff. So let it fire up, and you will notice you have a touch screen. Now then, there's 4 buttons here, recall and store and all that stuff. I hit recall every time I get back up there because somebody else may have touched it. And if you hit it, everything goes back to the last time that we used the machine and saved it. So everything's nice and saved for us. Now then, sliders 1 through 8. We used mostly 1 through 4 for the choir mics. And the choir mics, as you can tell, as my big fat pudgy fingers would point out, 1, 2, and 3. Stage left, stage right, and center. And on occasion, we will use a 4th mic if we have a really huge choir or we have kids. And we'll set that closest to the band. When we use that, we do have to use phantom power, and that plug, by the way, will be plugging into the ground sockets that we've shown you before. And I'll show you how to do phantom power later. Now, 5 and 6 we use for auxiliary plugs. If we need more mics, or we want to plug in another guitar on the right-hand side of the stage right side, we can use those plugs. 7 and 8 we rarely ever use unless we want to have a band that comes in and wants to use a stage. We will put them over there. And don't forget 1 through 3 choir mics. And about below 0 is about as loud as you can get. You'll see the lights go up to about 2 green lights. If it goes into the orange, it's getting just a little bit hot, so you got to bring those down. Again, this is stuff you have to play by ear. Now then, sliders 9 through 16, those are for the band. And as you can tell, if you pause this, you see drums, bass, Roland, Joe, Max, the Ensoniq, auxiliary, which is the one we use for stage shotgun mic, and the grand piano. Now the one marked Joe we don't use anymore because it has a bit of a buzz to it, so we just turn it off. Acoustic guitar and auxiliary, we can switch back and forth to adding a guitar, adding an Ensoniq electric piano. It doesn't matter what we want to plug in. So that is 9 through 17. And the same way with choir mics, you play by ear. You listen to the ear part with your ear. Now then, we go up to 17 through 24. We really don't use this except for satellite TV, the second one to the left. That's when we have football games on the TV screen. That's where the sound goes through. 25 through 32, praise singers. And mostly it's 6 through 9. On occasion we will use 10 and 11 depending on how many praise singers we have extra. Same thing, bring them up by ear. Have them do a mic check to make sure they're not too loud or not too low. Make sure they sing in a good loud voice. Now we have 33 through 40, and this is where we have the AT mics, AT1 and AT2, and Pastor Steve on number 4. All the other ones we really don't use. 3, 2, and 4, actually 5 were good for a while, There's a bit of fuzz going on, so mostly it's just for AT1 and AT2. Remember, AT2 is much louder than AT1, so you have to bring it down just a little bit. Pastor Steve, normally keep him on the same setting. He's good to go. 41 through 48, the last of the sliders. And as you can tell, we have easy worship because we do have videos on occasion that do have volume. The DVD player. Somebody brings in the DVD for any kind of function, a wedding or whatever. We do have audio. Simply turn on the on button and we have audio going through. The rest, next button over is for the Dell computer, which the rare occasions we use a Dell computer, it is hooked for sound. The middle ones in between there we really don't even touch, but the last two are the ones we do use, 47 and 48, for the CD player. CD player, I normally bring it to about 40. It's about as loud as I like to go because people downstairs want to hear music, but they don't want to have to yell over the music. And simply turn it on, turn it off by hitting the buttons, or just bring in the slider down. Now we go back to the center column. The center column matches up with what's on the screen. Everything is touchscreen, as you can tell, and it's deceiving because it's actually quite simple to use if you use it enough and if you practice enough with it. I thoroughly encourage you guys to jump on this as much as possible with somebody to help you. Now then, these buttons, you can punch any of these buttons and any of those banks will pop up on that center panel. So that way you don't have to reach over and touch and move things. You can jump back and forth right there on the center panel with all the other ones that are there. And for example, if I want to go to the choir, and I look over in the choir, see just have those three up. If I press the button, and those three choir mics come up. If I want to go to the band, click on the band button, and now it matches the band section right over there. Same thing with the top section that we rarely ever use. Press that, they all come down. And if I want to go to the praise singers, press the praise singer button, and it brings up their buttons. This way you can work on it right there in front of you instead of reaching across. It's quite easy to use, and it matches exactly what is on the panel you just switched off from. And on the bottom you can see exactly which choir mics you're working with. Now then, you see the red, those are showing that the phantom power is on. But if I want to turn phantom power on, for example, for a kid's mic or a mic for somebody playing the violin or euphonium, I click on that little tiny part of the screen and it'll bring up the phantom power selection. And you can see I already got the three choir mics turned on. Simply press the black box till it turns red, where it says plus 48V, and you have power going to that shotgun mic over there. Could be choir mic, could be shotgun mic. When you're not using it, actually when you're done, click on the X and you're back to the page. If you don't want to have it on, click on it again. Wait for the screen to pop up. It's a little tricky, so you gotta play with it. Find the one you want, turn it off, and close that window, and you are good to go. Now the little knobs you see that are on there, they also correspond with the knobs that are on the board itself. So if I wanted to turn up the gain, simply turn up the gain on that button that's below that the screen button, and it corresponds correctly. It matches perfectly with it. That's how you turn up your gain on those particular mics. On any of the mics that you choose on that screen, you can control it with that top gain button right there. So let's close that window and we'll go on to the next part. Okay, number one, splitter and house. Yeah, splitter spelled incorrectly. Splitter should always be at 5, as you can see right there at the very top. House should always be at 0. If you go any higher with the house, you will get feedback. Nasty, nasty, nasty. So make sure when you come in, check those and make sure that they are at 0 for house, 5 for splitter. You can always hit the reset button and that will bring you back to normal. Okay, we do have a headphone set and we have a microphone, and those are plugged in underneath the panel, and each has their own plug-in plus a volume switch. The left is for the headphone. There's the volume for that. Turn it clockwise to get louder. The right is for the microphone. That way we can bring up individuals to see who's singing loud, who's on guitar, that kind of thing. Microphone has the volume switch also, same thing. Turn that knob to increase the volume. Now if you want to talk to somebody down on stage and you don't feel like yelling, simply click on the monitor button right there with little headphones and a new screen will pop up. and at the bottom right you will see talk back on. It's in black right now. If I press it and it turns white, that microphone is now hot. If I want to close the window, just simply press the monitor again. The microphone is on, and the volume, make sure the volume is turned down. Otherwise, people downstairs will hear you. Make sure also to watch what you say, because the microphone does not turn down all the way in volume. So the best thing to do, just go back, turn it off, and get out of that window. This protects you from saying things you don't want to be heard. Pay attention to that. Okay, Avium and mix and monitor. As you see right next to the board, there's a piece of paper that has all the Avium setups. We have everything set up in a numbered fashion. BJ used to be on number 1 with his number 10 headset. 2 is for drums. 3 is for Dave. 4 is for Joe and guitar, which we don't use anymore. 5 is for Max and his guitar and acoustic guitar. You can pause that and see all the other stuff so I didn't go too fast. These correspond with the singers, for example. All the praise singers are on one Avium setting. All I have to do is go into the Avium and turn it up as loud as I want to go, or if they're too loud, bring it down. The Avium can also be controlled downstairs on the Avium boxes, which we will be going into later. Now then, if I want to control the mix on the Avium for the particular singer, let's say for example, number 10 in the Avium. Number 10 is single. It goes through number 1 in the Avium settings. It does not go in with all the other praise singers. Something will probably change. But if you want to control the gain on that as it's going through the Avium box, simply grab that number 1 button, because it does match up with the numbers that you see on the screen. Turn to the left or right and you'll get the gain going up. All of the other Avium settings are set as you can see on that piece of paper. Simply pull up any one you want to bring up and you can control, turn them on, turn them off on the Avium, so that way everybody downstairs, they can control whether they want to hear the piano louder through the monitors, hear the praise singers louder through the monitors, hear Pastor Steve louder through the monitors, etc., etc. You control all that stuff upstairs, so don't be afraid to bring those up, to play with them, to test. You really can't go wrong, because as long as somebody's there with you to learn the stuff, you will learn, and you can put stuff back and forth, and you can ask all the questions you want to, not have to worry about making a mistake. This is how we learn. Ask all the questions you want. Now, as we go into the settings for the choir, I like to keep the choir settings there, and I like to just turn off the buttons when they're done singing. That way, the levels are where you left them at. You don't have to guess to where they are. If you bring them down, you have to guess back again where you left them at. So me personally, I like to just turn off the buttons. Much simpler. You don't have to worry. If you have a good memory and you can trust yourself, leave them where they are. Be on the safe side, just turn them off. That way we get rid of any feedback. Now then, if we want to save something, if we did some changing, we want to save it, we click the Store button. Store will save that setting. It's already saved to 04/01/12. All I have to do is click on Store. It'll ask me again another window saying, "Are you sure?" And I will say yes or no, depending on what it is. If we've saved some things that's very specific and very useful, I will make sure to save them. If it's a very beneficial thing, save, save, save. And if you're not sure, click Reset. It takes us back to 0. Now we go to turning on the CD recorder. I turn it off because it makes a loud noise. It tends to just grind away. Simply click open the eject button and you will put in a CD, a blank CD, which we have a stack of them right there, those white ones. Put one in each of the trays, because you never can tell if we're going to go beyond a certain time limit. Better to be safe than sorry. So just pop both of them in there, close both of them. 5 minutes before we start, we turn on the recorder. Make sure you do that. There's the red button right there. When we're done recording, what I found out is just hold down that stop button and hold it down. Hit stop to stop, and then hold it down for about 5 seconds, and it starts initializing. Put a date on it, put it into the burnt CD collector, and we're good to go. Now the CD player, it should be on automatically once we turn on the power, the 1, 2, and 3 buttons. If you pop out the cartridge, we have 6 CDs in that cartridge, and right below it, there's a 7th one you can put in as well if you don't feel like going through the cartridge. I like to put the player on shuffle, and we go through all our CDs. We can mix and match. It has everything like Spanish music, Christian, obviously Christian music, funeral music, Christmas music, you name it, we pretty much have it. Press that button, and it takes you from just regular play to random. That way, it'll just spin and spin and spin. It'll go through all kinds of different songs, so it'll give you a little bit mixture on a Sunday morning. Simply play. It'll do its function of random and find a random song and start to play. Go over to the board, and where you see the 2 green lights, that tells us that we have music going through on 47 and 48. Bring it down, music disappears. That's where you kill the music, or you come over to the stop button and press stop. That's the pause button right there. The stop button is the one below it. Just simply press stop, and we go back to 0 on those as well. Easy peasy. So, if we're turning everything off, go to number 3, because we're going backwards this time. Go counterclockwise, pop out the key, put the key away in where you got it from. Go to number 2, and the number 2 switch, turn that sucker off. We're good to go. Last thing we have is number 1. Click off number 1, and the board is black. Don't forget, put the cover back on this. We don't want any dust on there. And of course, roll it up. Do a little bit better job than I did. I'm just being lazy at this point. So that's kind of a brief overview. If you have any questions on this, please ask me. Again, we're just going to do some practicing on this as much as we can. Bye-bye.